Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 20 of the Breakdown Besties podcast. Whew, we made it so
Woohoo!
far. Once
Yeah,
a week. Thank you for watching all our 175 people as we have right now as our subscribers on YouTube. We're so thrilled you're here, and we hope you are getting the film school education that we promised you through this podcast. So, as you know, we are your Breakdown Besties. I'm Ananya.
I'm Akshay.
And we have 14 years of experience writing for shows like Mismatch, Wedding.com, Ishq in the Air, Anna Naidu, Grahan, Inside Edge. I'm so tired of saying these names every single time. On Amazon, Netflix, and Disney Plus, and a host of other shows that have gotten stuck in development hell but will see the light of day one day. And like we mentioned, we are here to give you a film school experience by breaking down a bunch of iconic Bollywood films and seeing the tips, the tricks that have been used, analyzing what works, what makes them work, and then breaking it down so that we can implement them in our own writing. Right. So today, the movie that we are going to be breaking down, as you know, because you clicked on the episode, is Karthik Calling Karthik. Written and directed by Vijay Lalwani. This was another genre-defining film, right? Because we haven't seen a lot of these before or after, have we? Or just have I
Yeah, I don't think so. I
not?
do think
Yeah,
the twist of the movie, spoiler alert, who has not seen it, but
yeah.
you are must. That like the multiple personality disorder, I think
Hmm.
that we have seen a lot now. I think like
That we've seen a lot. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
somebody needs to
But that's
stop that.
true.
Like we saw it in Bhool Bhulaiya also, and like I don't know,
Hmm.
100 other movies which have done that.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
I was wrong. Yeah.
No, but I
I
think
think.
this treatment of like say the first half is like a almost a rom-com of sorts, and
Hmm.
the second half becomes a completely different film. Uh,
Yes.
I think this
Yeah.
treatment we didn't expect, like
Yeah.
going
This
in the.
and
I do remember it being a little bit of a pop culture moment though. Like I remember in school in
hmm.
ninth grade, everybody spoke about the songs Hey and
Yeah.
uh this one Uf Teri Ada, and I think Deepika Padukone
Yeah.
became a collective crush of everybody and at that
Yeah,
time.
but she couldn't act in this film. Huh?
Yeah. She couldn't. She couldn't. You can
Mm,
really see, no, like how
yeah,
bad,
her
like
arc.
yeah, her arc. And
Yeah.
I remember this conversation also became like a topic. Like, is her dress in that song brown or purple or like what is the color? It was the the Facebook thing it had. Like, is the dress
Yeah,
golden or
yeah,
white or whatever?
yeah. Yeah, whatever,
So
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
equivalent to that.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. So let's get into this film like we always do by getting into the log line.
Hmm,
Hmm. So, what is the logline of your film? Your logline is your film's guiding light. Essentially, it summarizes your entire film, its premise in 40 words or less, and it allows you to see the mudda of your film. So, when you are lost deep into the weeds of the screenplay of your film and you can't see the forest for the trees, you're like, what am I even writing about? What's the point of this film? What's the point of the scene, this dialogue? To what end are we writing this? That is when you go back to your logline because it will answer all your questions.
hmm,
Now, why is it so effective at answering all your questions? Because it contains four essential elements. And those are one, your flaw slash block slash limitation slash wound slash need. So essentially, this is something within your character. This is something that they lack or something that's stopping them from achieving element number two, which
hmm,
is their goal.
hmm,
The goal is the whole reason you're watching the film. It's why we go on the journey and watch this character. It's because they are pursuing something. It keeps your audiences hooked and going.
hmm,
Number three is conflict. Conflict is this external obstacle which challenges your character's internal need. So, whatever they are scared of facing, whatever their fear is inside, it materializes externally. And only by overcoming that external force are they able to change from the inside and go one step closer to their goal. So,
hmm,
if the goal is the destination, the conflict is the journey.
hmm,
And finally, you have stakes. Stakes are what your character will lose should they not achieve their goal. It is not simply not achieving their goal, it is going one level lower and
hmm,
losing something extra,
hmm,
right?
hmm,
Okay, so that being said, I have a log line for Karthik Calling Karthik. And it is a longer log line than
Yeah.
usual because there are so many elements, right, to
Yeah.
encapsulate in this.
Yeah.
And okay, so I will read it out to you
Hmm.
and break it down. So, when a man with low self esteem starts receiving phone calls from himself that allow him to live the life of his dreams and land a girlfriend, he
Hmm.
must keep these phone calls secret from his girlfriend, lest he be considered crazy and lose it all.
Yeah. This is great. Yeah. Sounds perfect.
So, okay, so let's break it down into its four elements, right?
Yeah.
The first is limitation. In
Hmm.
this case, he has a limitation of having very low self esteem. He doesn't
Yeah.
believe in himself, he doesn't believe anything is possible.
Yeah.
He has the goal of living the life of his dreams and wanting a girlfriend.
Hmm.
And the reason I've separated wanting a girlfriend is because that is where the lion's share of the movie concentrates, right? Like he gets
Yeah.
his first two goals of the job and the house cleared out
Yeah.
really fast. The
Yeah.
girlfriend has a bit of a chase,
Yeah.
right?
And even I just wrote that his biggest goal is wanting a
Goal
girlfriend,
is
which, yeah.
girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
for
other
sure.
two almost falls into the category of he needs to overcome those two things to get his goal. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And conflict, keep the phone calls secret.
Hmm.
Now, this challenges the limitation of low self esteem because, as a man with low self esteem, it's hard to keep a secret because you're
Yeah.
constantly like, oh my God, what if I get found out? Or, will she leave me? Like, I need to
Yeah.
say this. So
Yeah.
that's why it's the conflict
Yeah.
that challenges his low self esteem. And the stakes are considered to be lazy and lose it all.
Hmm. Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah,
Huh.
let's say
Yeah.
lazy.
Yeah. You said lazy.
Okay. I've written lazy also. I've written lazy twice.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes
Yeah.
all, uh, that's perfect actually.
Right? Cool. Yeah. So now that I'm reading this back and I'm thinking about the film, I'm like, while his limitation is low self esteem, the conflict of keeping the phone calls secret doesn't directly challenge that limitation, right? But the conflict is something that challenges your inner flaw, right? Like
Huh.
if your flaw is being someone who is a coward, your conflict
Hmm.
will be facing a lion.
Hmm.
So it challenges it. So if his conflict is having low self esteem, he
Hmm.
has essentially he overcomes low self esteem very early on in the film.
That's also another problem I had, which was like the switch was
Hmm.
so fast. Like the day he said that, okay, I'm gonna follow your
Yeah.
instructions, he changes, like it's like a
Yeah.
switch happens, like somebody like literally went like ting ting ting, okay, I'm perfect
Hmm.
now. Like I wish there
Yeah.
was a little more struggle of that. Like he, like even in a scene work, if it was like, yes, I'll do it, yes, I'll do it. You know what? No, I'm not gonna do it.
No.
Just
Hmm.
a little bit of that.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. Now I'm revisiting my own log line, and I wouldn't say that conflict is keep the phone call secret because by the time he has to keep the phone call a secret, he has already overcome his limitation. So
Huh.
conflict challenges limitation, but when there's no limitation, there is
Hmm.
nothing to challenge.
I think what you say that, like if he's coward, the conflict has to be the lion. In
Hmm.
some way, it is that he's he has low self-esteem issues is the flaw or limitation he has. The
Yeah.
fact that he is taking orders from somebody is the
Hmm.
conflict in some way.
Right. Yeah, 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 yeah. That is correct. That
Huh.
his low self esteem, his new confidence doesn't come from inside. It's
Yeah.
attached outside of him.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that way, keeping the phone calls a secret does become the conflict
Huh.
because he has to kind of keep taking these phone calls to keep his self esteem where it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is really good. Yeah.
Hmm.
Well
Hmm.
thought out. Let's get into the hero's journey next. So, what is your hero's journey? Your hero's journey is the structural spine of your film. It is the journey every character goes on, which allows them to overcome their flaw and eventually achieve their goal. Even if they don't achieve their goal, they do end up overcoming their flaw, and that in itself is achieving the bigger goal. Now, when all of us, from our characters to ourselves, set out to do something new, we also set out on our own hero's journeys because it's the most natural journey that we embark on when you go out to do anything new. You feel scared, but you hesitate. You find someone who helps you through it. You achieve it. You fight. All of that. So this hero's journey is essentially a diagnostic tool which you use, which will allow you to map out the various turning points of these journeys, which you and your character are both going to go on, and ensure that it gives your audience that experience, that emotional hit of those various emotional turning points, which they will experience on this road to achieving their goal. This is what helps keep your audiences in their seats. Okay.
Yeah.
So the hero's journey of Karthik Calling Karthik begins with the ordinary world, as do all heroes' journeys. The ordinary world is the world in which your hero exists before they set out to achieve their mission and their goal. In the ordinary world, you see what their flaw is, what their daily life is, the where, what, when, who, and why of the situation they're in, and why haven't they achieved their goal yet. In the ordinary world here, we see that Karthik is a regular employee. He has no friends. He's lonely. His boss hates him. His landlord's is like sucking his blood. He gets fired from his job. Nothing is going his way. And by the end of it, he wants to kill himself. He's anyway very low and he's quite depressed and he wants to kill himself. And then we have the call to action. The call to action is when the character is called and said that, come, now you can achieve your goal. We are giving you this opportunity to go and achieve your goal. So over here, Karthik, as he's about to kill himself, gets a mysterious phone call.
A call for a call to action.
Call. Literal. Like literal. So he gets this call, and this caller on the other end sounds suspiciously like him, seems to know everything about him, says, I want to help you, blah, blah, blah. Karthik freaks the fuck out, and he puts the phone down. And that takes us to the refusal of the call. Now, the refusal of the call is when you're offered this opportunity to actually get what you want, which in Karthik's case is a life that he actually doesn't dread living but enjoys living. It's a life of his dreams. You're like, but wait, what? This is too good to be true. I can't even do it. Am I capable? It's the hesitation because of which you refuse the call. So Karthik banging the phone down is a refusal of the call.
Yeah.
And then he goes to the MTNL office.
Yeah.
And the MTNL office also tells him that, boss, tumhe koi call nahi aaya tha. It's all in your head. Whatever. So he's like, okay. And then he goes home that evening and he gets a call again. And this call can also be considered meeting the mentor. Right? Meeting the mentor is the next stage of your hero's journey. Over here, you meet someone who has been on the journey that you want to go on, and they say that, look, I'm going to help you. If your goal is to slay the dragon, I'm going to give you the sword to help you do that. And he says that your goal is living a good life. I want to help you live a good life. I can help you live a good life. Or is it that you just don't want to be helped, or do you don't trust that I can help you? What is it? Don't you want to be helped? Don't you want to be helped? I can help you. And then Karthik says, okay, fine. Like, I'm listening to you. So he stays up all night talking to that voice that's telling him how to improve his life. That you need to learn to say no, you say yes to everyone and everything. And he really takes in the learnings of this mentor on the other. Then you have crossing the threshold. Crossing the threshold is when your character takes a real step into the new world. He does something that marks that, okay, now I'm stepping into this new world and I cannot return from this point. I'm committed to achieving my goal. And in this film, it is when Karthik takes on his landlord who is asking for an extra deposit and says that, nobody, this ain't happening, and in fact turns the situation around in his favor and gets money out of his landlord. And I think the crossing the threshold emotionally, I think because of the way they've done the music and stuff over there, it continues even until when he goes back to the same job he's been fired from and negotiates a new position for himself. That also feels like he's still crossing into this new world.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're right. Like it's not just the music, the way they've stationed it. Like he's walking in the corridor in that new suit.
Hmm.
All of that feels like so like he's entering the new world essentially.
Yeah,
Hmm. Hmm.
exactly. He's still crossing that threshold.
Huh.
And once that happens, once he negotiates a higher, like head of business development position from himself at his old job, that's when he's crossed in. He's made it.
Hmm. Hmm.
And now he can go after his real goal, which is getting Deepika Padukone's character, Shonali,
Yeah.
right? And that takes us into your next stage of your hero's journey, which is your tests, allies, and enemies.
Hmm.
That once you've crossed, you're understanding what your new world is.
Hmm.
Who are your friends? Who are your enemies? What challenges are going to be coming your way in this new world? So over here, we see that we have an initial enemy, which is Deepika Padukone's current boyfriend.
Hmm.
Then we have an Deepika who's going to be his ally, and the challenges of essentially, well, getting a girlfriend, because there
Yeah.
are no other challenges in this that
Yeah.
stem
Like
from his brain or mental health. Yeah.
correct. Like she just says, I'm not interested in men, but like him trying to like
Hmm.
woo her becomes the challenge in this
Yeah.
situation. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. And another ally on his course or mentor
Hmm.
is his own personality, other
Yeah.
personality. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so by the end of it, he ends up winning the pickup Padukone over. They go on dates, non-dates, they paint his house, all of that. Until finally they go shopping for him one day and they
Hmm.
run into his cousin.
Hmm.
And there he says that she's just a friend.
Hmm.
And Deepika says, I'm your girlfriend.
Hmm.
And then we begin the approach to the innermost cave.
Hmm.
Now, your approach to the innermost cave is if your goal is to slay the dragon and steal the bag of gold, here is
Hmm.
where you approach the cave where the dragon is
Hmm.
sleeping and
Hmm.
you endeavor to take it on and steal that bag of gold.
Hmm.
So over here, Farhan Akhtar's character says, hey, thank you for like keeping up the ruse of being my girlfriend in front of my cousin. And she's like,
Hmm.
hey, but I am your girlfriend.
Hmm.
And then it goes into another sort of courtship sequence where they're like, now someone has to make the first move. They
Hmm.
go clubbing, then
Hmm.
she's drunk, so he doesn't want to like take advantage of her because she's drunk. But then he gets drunk himself, so he's like, now we both of us can take advantage of each
Yeah.
other. And
Yeah.
then just as they're about to hook up, her insecurities kick in. So then he takes her to the office in the middle of the night
Yeah.
to show her
Yeah.
the written but unsent declarations of love,
Yeah.
which mildly creepy, but okay.
He's got his
Why you
shoes. He's got his shoes.
he's got it. Yeah. The whole movie is centered around his
Yeah.
issues. So
Yeah.
yes. Yeah. And Deepika sees drafts and drafts of unsent love letters, and she's like, now I know your love is real,
Yeah.
because you waited
Yeah.
it out for me.
Yeah.
And then they hook up and they have approached the innermost cave. They are in
Yeah.
a relationship. So then I have the ordeal. So
Hmm.
once you have approached your innermost cave, you've gotten what you've gotten
Hmm.
wanted. Then something now you have to pay the price of it.
Hmm.
So there for me the ordeal was that Deepika is like, look, I've been burnt by men lying a billion times. So you please don't lie to me.
Huh.
And he's
Hmm.
just
Hmm.
like, okay, cool. So I will, he's conflicted. He's like, should I tell her about the phone call? Should I not tell her about the phone
Hmm.
call? So
Hmm.
he decides to tell her about the phone call. He's
Hmm.
like, look, buddy, this is happening. And
Hmm.
she's like, bro, you have issues. You need to go see a therapist.
Hmm.
Either you go see a therapist or we break up because I ain't marrying you when
Yeah.
you got issues you're not willing to treat.
Yeah.
And then he goes to the therapist and he tells the therapist what's happening. And she's like, you know what? I'm going to come to your house and see whether you actually get these calls at 5
Hmm.
a.m.
Hmm.
And lo and behold, the call actually comes.
Hmm.
He threatens the therapist character, Shafali Shah. And then he tells Deepika, bro, this happened. Now, so do you believe me that I actually get this call? Therapist ma'am is also saying I get this call. She's like, no, now I will answer. I will come over and say. And the call
Yeah.
actually comes.
Hmm.
When the call comes, she says, don't answer it. Don't
Hmm.
answer it. Have you ever thought of not answering it?
Hmm.
So, and then after some time, Deepika cut leti hai because she's
Hmm.
flipping out. I'm out
Yeah.
from here.
Yeah.
And, and then later he finally answers the call.
Yeah.
And that is the Karthik on the other end saying, bro, who are you to not answer my call?
Yeah.
Who do you think you are? Now I'm going to fuck you. Your life is going to be over, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And that proceeds to happen because that Karthik ends up calling the boss, ends up calling Deepika, calling her a slut, getting
Yeah.
all of that. He gets fired from his job. He
Broken up
loses his
with. Hmm.
girlfriend, hooking up with all of that. So he leaves town. He decides to go leave forever to a place where even he doesn't know the name, he doesn't know the location, nothing. Gets on a train, asks a stranger to buy him a ticket, and he goes to a nondescript town without a
Hmm.
phone, nothing.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then comes the reward.
Hmm.
Now that you face this ordeal of everything in your life going wrong, and you're finally away from the dragon who has been chasing you down, once you've taken the bag of gold, you have a moment of relief, of reprise. For Karthik, this comes in the form of not getting any more calls because he
Hmm.
doesn't have a phone, and of
Yeah.
having started a new life and a new
Life.
job,
Hmm.
which he's
Hmm.
actually really good at,
Hmm.
right? Then you have the way back where you think you're okay, you're fine, you're on your way back home, you've escaped what you need to escape, gotten what you needed to get,
Hmm.
but your road back is still filled with challenges. There are still
Hmm.
people who are trying to steal that bag of gold from you.
Hmm.
In this case, it is his new boss who says
Hmm.
that while you're doing a phenomenal job, in this day and age, you can't not have a phone.
Hmm.
So you have to go get a phone. So Karthik is extremely scared to do so. He gets a phone, but he doesn't even want to know the number. He's like,
Hmm.
I have no interest in knowing anything that's going on.
Hmm.
And he waits it out and he's scared he's going to get another call. But luckily, he doesn't the
Hmm.
first night. But the next night onwards, he gets calls again that, oh, you thought you could escape me. I'm back. You're done for. You should kill yourself. You should kill yourself. And
Hmm.
Karthik is so tormented by this that
Hmm.
he proceeds to commit suicide for the second time over in this film.
Hmm.
But then you have the resurrection. The resurrection is when your characters at their lowest point and then they've been attacked, they've been on the way home, and they're almost not going to make it, but they rise from the ashes and fight the demon again.
Hmm.
In this case, Karthik resurrects when Deepika Padukone finds him.
Hmm.
Because separately, she and the therapist have put together the facts that Karthik has schizophrenia and
Huh.
something is wrong with him. So
Hmm.
she comes to save him
Hmm.
and he resurrects. He is
Hmm.
alive,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And then you have the return with the elixir.
Hmm.
This is when you return to your old world, but now you're a new person.
Hmm.
Over here, we go back to the old world where Karthik is now living with Deepika, and it is now his birthday, much like it was when he wanted to first kill himself in the film.
Yeah.
Except this time, Shefali Shah's character calls and says, Happy birthday, we're all here with you. Deepika's here with him. So now he is in the new world, but he is in the old world, but he is a new person.
Yeah. And she says that I'll see you soon. That means like he's continuing with his therapy or like treatment
Therapy.
essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go into the theme next.
Yeah.
Hmm. So, what is the theme of your film? So, as an artist, when you create art, you have a perspective on the world.
Hmm.
And your art is nothing but a medium for you to tell the world that, hey, this is what I think about where we live, the human condition, circumstances, what I believe is right or wrong. This is the most important part of anything you create. It is the heart and soul. And without this underlying your work tends to be empty. So, over here in a film, specifically in these formats, your theme is posed as a dramatic question. It may or may not be a question you ask directly out loud to your audience, but it is a question you definitely have in mind
Hmm.
and you already know the answer.
Hmm.
And through the actions your character takes throughout the film and the final result that they obtain, you will give the answer to your audience that this is my belief on the world. So, in the case of Karthik Calling Karthik, I believe the dramatic question they've asked is our mind our best friend or our worst enemy?
Hmm. Interesting. Yeah.
And I'll tell you why I think so.
Hmm.
Because from the get go itself, you know that it is Karthik calling Karthik.
Yeah.
It's in the name of the film. So
Yeah.
you are never confused about who this mysterious caller is.
Yeah.
And given that in the start of the film, you've seen him have nightmares.
Hmm.
And they've explained this backstory where his brother who was bullying him passed away, while trying to bully him, and Karthik carries the guilt of it his whole life,
Hmm.
you understand that there is a mental health condition at play over here.
Hmm.
So, in that case, you know that the calls are actually his own mind speaking to him.
Hmm.
The only time the calls become real to the audience is when Shefali Shah's character listens,
Hmm.
sees the phone
Hmm.
ringing and answers the call. Then you're
Yeah.
like, oh my God,
My
like,
God.
how did
Yeah.
this happen? Right?
Yeah.
So until then, you know what's going on in their own head, right? So it's like, okay, but it was his own mind till then. That
Hmm.
was his best friend that got
Hmm.
him to this level of success that he wanted to be at.
Yeah.
But later on, even when he isolates himself or when he does something wrong,
Hmm.
when he ignores the phone call, he
Yeah.
gets a call again. And this time it's his mind saying, you didn't like believe me.
Yeah.
You didn't listen to me, etc.
Hmm.
Of course,
Hmm.
for some time you're confused that,
Hmm.
acha, but this is a real caller. Is this someone tricking him?
Hmm.
All of that. But later on, once the schizophrenia diagnosis and stuff is revealed, and when they reveal
Hmm.
to you how those calls are actually coming to him, you realize that it is actually him.
Hmm.
It is his own mind. And that
Yeah.
time, his own mind is his worst enemy. So when
Yeah.
you don't keep a promise to yourself,
Hmm.
let's say that I promise myself that I'll write a script in the next 3 months.
Hmm.
And that at that point, you're like, okay, great, I'm doing this really well. The moment you break that promise to yourself that, okay, I'm going to write every day, and then you don't
Hmm.
write for one day, your mind hates you, right? They're like,
Yeah.
how dare you? You're terrible. You're stupid. How can you do that?
Yeah.
And that's the same thing that happens to him that, I'm going to keep you, I'm going to boost you and your confidence.
Hmm.
But the moment you don't listen to me or you don't take my instructions, you don't do it how I think it should be done,
Hmm.
then I'm going to become your worst enemy.
Hmm.
So that is, I feel like, the theme of the film that they're
Yeah.
asking, is your mind your best friend or your worst enemy?
Hmm.
And they've answered the question by saying, because this could have worked even with someone without a mental health illness, because I think our
Hmm.
minds are just crazy places, right? Because we
Yeah.
all have this internal dialogue
Self-sabotaging
always going
nature.
on.
Yeah.
Nature, exactly. But in this, they've said that, yes, in the case of someone with a mental health condition, especially, it is your worst enemy.
Hmm.
Because at the end, he does almost kill himself
Yeah.
because of
Yeah.
his own mind playing tricks on him. But this film takes the theme one level further, it pushes
Hmm.
it, where it says, then, okay, but who is your friend in that
Hmm.
case?
Hmm.
And over here, it is other people.
Yeah.
And,
Hmm.
you know, because in the start, when he wants to kill himself and he's stuck with his own mind, he is lonely.
Yeah.
And now, when he's rescued, he has Deepika Padukone, he has
Hmm.
Shefali Shah coming to his
Yeah.
rescue.
Yeah.
So, which also shows that, when all of us are struggling, it's easier to talk to another person because
Yeah.
they
To
give you
reach out.
perspective on yourself. Yeah.
Hmm.
Which you never have.
Yeah.
So, this is, I think, largely what the theme is talking about, that you can be your worst enemy,
Yeah.
but others can be trusted to help you out when you're being terrible to yourself.
I want to talk about tone.
Hmm. Yeah.
So I think there's a slight problem of a lot of Bollywood movies that we can't stick to a genre. And
Hmm.
and I'm not saying that we shouldn't do genre bending stuff. That's not what I'm saying. Like, but I feel genre bending transcends first half, second half. Like your each scene should feel they belong in two different genres, right? Like, or like
Hmm.
multiple scenes should happen. Your it was simple case of the first half is your romantic comedy movie. It's all cute and
Hmm.
fun, and so much of it is shown, right? Like the chase, like you said, to for him
Yeah.
to get his girlfriend. Not just that, but like even to show so many cute moments about them. It just
Hmm.
almost made me feel a little impatient to see that where is this going? Like when are we gonna
Yeah.
start talking about the actual film?
Hmm.
And recently another film had come out, Tu Ya Main, which was about these two people like they're in love and they get stuck in a hotel swimming pool, and the swimming pool is now filled with crocodiles. Like that was the sell of the movie. Okay. Uh yeah, like it's one of those creature feature movies like an Anaconda or a Jurassic
Hmm.
Park. But
Yeah.
again, what they did, the first half is entirely a rom com, which was like
Hmm.
them just falling in love, him chasing her, whatever. And only a second half becomes about these crocodiles. But I wanted to see the crocodiles immediately, right? Like I want to see the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I want to see like in the first 10 minutes what's wrong. Like
Yeah,
how
you
is this
have to
gonna
tease it at least. Yeah.
yeah, correct. So similarly, I felt that it's a risk because I feel like people are like the Bollywood films are structured as two halves, right? Like if like
Hmm.
and there's a little bit of confidence lacking to commit to a genre in the sense that there needs to be something for everybody. Like if somebody is not
Yeah.
on board with psychological thrillerness of this film, but at
Huh.
least like the romance will like get you
Hmm.
in. And I
Yeah.
feel
Hmm.
and I'm not criticizing the romance moments. They like fully gave me
Hmm.
like butterflies and they were like really cute moments.
Yeah.
But I just wish that the psychological elements kept seeding in throughout. Like the fact
Yeah.
that he says that you cannot tell anybody about me also came
Hmm.
in so late in the film. Like, imagine how
Yeah.
creepy would it be if every call of his ended like that.
Hmm.
Do this, do this,
Hmm.
do this, but remember, you cannot tell anybody.
Hmm.
So, at least there would be a little bit of stake building throughout the film. Um, but just did not happen. So, I wish like
Yeah.
there was little more genre meshing in that sense.
For sure.
So that it won't completely feel two different films.
Films,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. But speaking of tone, I want to give credit to this film where credit is due
Hmm.
in terms of the realisticness, the
Yeah.
realism of this film.
Yeah.
Like, Bollywood films have this tendency of just things being unrealistic.
Hmm.
But which is fine, which is what Bollywood films are for. They're for escapism, they're to show you the promise of a better
Hmm.
life. But over here, the film is hyper real in a lot of ways. So they've used really small moments to show you that.
Hmm.
Like when his boss fires him on the phone, like, and he picks up the phone and throws it.
Hmm.
Okay, common. We've seen people break shit in a lot of films. But then he starts picking up the pieces.
Hmm.
I'm like,
Yeah.
they've kept it real. You
Real.
know,
Yeah.
when Deepika is applying lipstick and he throws the lipstick away, like everyone who I was watching it with, their reaction was, "Arey, Mac ki 4,000 ki lipstick hai," and that is
Yeah.
literally. And that is like her reaction to it because like go and bloody get that back for me.
Yeah.
So he goes and he retrieves it.
Yeah.
So they've kept it very real in this sense
Yeah.
of the film. And since we're talking about the tone, just want to talk about the world very briefly in
Hmm.
terms of how they've used it.
Hmm.
Because as it is hyper real, the
Hmm.
world is hyper real, they haven't really tried to take you outside of it and build
Hmm.
anything larger than life.
Hmm.
So all the conflicts also stem from the world in terms of when he's asking her out. They're in an
Hmm.
office. So
Hmm.
how can you get creative within an office to
Hmm.
ask someone out? So
Hmm.
because it's an architectural firm, he prints it on a plaque and he sends her
Huh.
like coffee tonight. And she
Yeah.
also responds with taking another plaque and covering it and saying no.
No.
Then
Yeah.
they're talking communication on the printer.
Hmm.
So they felt the need for a big dance and drama sequence. They've thought, how can we use this world and make the
Hmm.
characters more, creative within it? And that
Hmm.
is like a true test of your creativity, right? How do you
Yeah.
work within constraints? With
Yeah.
unlimited budget, to kuch bhi kar sakte hain. You can send them flying to the moon, but
Yeah.
over here, how do you use the world to add
Yeah.
elements and conflict to it? They're very
Huh.
mundane things which they've
Yeah.
taken and created conflict out of them, which is
Yeah.
really hard to do in a realistic film.
Yeah.
So
Especially
always
in a
spend
Bollywood film, I find it so hard. Like, like the
hard,
constant brief is like, how is this exceptionally different?
different.
But the
Exactly.
fact that they tried to keep it not different was
Hmm.
different in this film.
Different. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Next, I want to talk about the character of Karthik,
Hmm.
character creation.
Yeah.
So I love the way they have introduced Karthik.
Hmm.
I'm not saying I love the character,
Hmm.
but what they've done is immediately created relatability right
Hmm.
off the bat. The filmmakers knew their audience really well. They knew that it is the ordinary office going person. And
Hmm.
they're like, what problems do they have in their life? They have a landlord who's an asshole, a boss who's an asshole. They are lonely. They come home to nobody. They feel
Hmm.
like they're terrible. These are very common and relatable problems.
Yeah.
So you have two ways of approaching character creation. I mean, you have several ways, but in a film like this, which is hyper realistic, you have two ways of creating it. Either a character who you really admire,
Hmm.
or a character who you relate to and is very ordinary.
Yeah.
And in this case, they've chosen to go the very, very ordinary route, and
Yeah.
instantly the audience is just like, "Acha, ye to hamare jaisa hi hai." Matlab,
Yeah. Yeah.
and this works really well because this creates range, which
Hmm.
is another thing which you do when you want to create a character arc.
Hmm.
Is you introduce them at their lowest so that then you can take them to their highest and it lands. It shows a genuine difference. So they've shown this man who just cannot speak, and later on, they've created this character, built him up into someone who can speak to anyone and get anything done and has a way, has a trick for anything and everything. So it is only by starting at a low over here that you can take this character to a high. If you'd started him out at a medium, no one's interested in that arc. You need range.
Yeah. Yeah. I think what they also like the more than relatability, obviously it is relatable, but the fact that they they make you sympathize with him so much. Like you almost feel so bad for him because like it's again relatable, right? Like you also feel bad for yourself when your boss is shouting at you.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's you don't like anybody being punched down so much, right? Like in the sense that the the landlord is so unreasonable with him, and the boss is so unreasonable. Like he says that give me one contract, but he demands contracts at two, like for like two things,
Yeah.
and makes him stay up the whole night, uh, and the fact that Deepika's character doesn't even know that he exists.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah.
so obviously there is an aspect of relatability, but you also feel so bad for him that right, like I feel they use sympathy to make create empathy for him.
But do you think that works?
I think it worked in this film for sure.
Because, yeah, I think it did work. But usually, if you do this with a character who
Yeah.
doesn't like stand up,
Yeah.
you'll get really annoyed. You'll be like, dude, stand up for yourself, you know?
But I feel like because it's the starting point of this film, it works. Like if it was the entire first half of the film, you'd be like, "Bas bhai, kya ho raha hai?"
Bus, yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just because it's just the starting point. I thought that was good.
Good, yeah. And he does stand up to his boss, which ultimately leads to him getting fired. So
Yeah.
he's not completely,
Yeah.
yeah.
At least he's trying to reason with the boss that he says, no, you did not say two contracts. And but it's just that the nature of this world is that, like
Yeah.
you have to listen to your boss in some way. So what to do?
Exactly.
And I also thought they balanced with his character want versus need very nicely, in the sense that his want is very clear that he needs a girlfriend. Like he wants this woman to be his girlfriend. Like he's not caring so much about I need respect from the boss. I need like the all that is second nature, but his actual want is that he wants a girlfriend. But as his need as his character is that he needs to just be confident, like have like raise his self-esteem, and what the need comes from his other personality, which tells him like stop saying yes all the time, like you need to say no.
Yeah.
So I thought they did a good balance of want versus need, at least for his character,
Yeah.
properly.
Yeah, very well done. Yeah. Going to genre tropes.
Huh.
Because in this film, like, or in a lot of films like these, a genre trope is a tragic backstory, right? When someone has a mental illness. That a mental illness comes from अच्छा उसने अपने बचपन में someone shouted at him and they became like this. Essentially,
Yeah.
trauma is a backstory which justifies mental illness, which they use to create empathy for him throughout the film and to help us understand that this is why he might be suffering. But at the end, what they do is they reverse the backstory. They say that, acha, he didn't actually, like, he never had a brother who he killed because of which he feels guilty. His brain invented that brother.
Yeah.
So it's like he didn't have an incident which led to a mental health disorder. He had a mental health disorder which led to imagining that or creating that incident in his head.
Yeah.
So I think this is a really good tool to use in a mystery film like this, where it has
Hmm.
this elements of mystery. It's a genre trope where you essentially reverse the cause and effect, where the effect
Hmm.
can be the cause and the cause can be the effect. I didn't know what to
Hmm.
call it, so I called it the palindrome backstory.
Okay.
So I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
Where, or you can do this not just with a backstory, but with any device where
Hmm.
you think the device is the cause, but if it logically, it can be the effect also if
Hmm.
switched together. So
Hmm.
this is a really good tool if it works logically to create a twist in your film.
Yeah.
So which
Yeah.
they
But
have done over here. Yeah, cool. And another genre trope I want to point out for this mystery sort of thing is called the
hmm.
logical explanation of the device,
Hmm.
which is when you have something that is mysterious, it can't be
Hmm.
explained, it seems
Hmm.
supernatural, but it's not supernatural. And there's
Hmm.
actually a device that has been used, the explanation, the logical explanation. So over
Hmm.
here, it's how is Karthik getting all these calls? Okay, fine, it might be in his head. But oh, how is Shefali Shah and like how Deepika Padukone being able to listen to him? Oh, how when he unplugs the phone, does the phone keep ringing? And
Hmm.
that's when they take you to a flashback. And on this flashback can be very gimmicky, but they
Oh.
have done it very well in this
Yeah.
case where,
I loved it. This made they've
yeah,
done. Yeah.
very well done. Where Karthik is first buying the phone and the features of the phone are being explained to him. But
Hmm.
he sees Deepika outside the store, so he's not paying attention to that consciously. So
Hmm.
he's looking at Deepika. So as an audience, you also aren't that the sound is not there of what the
Yeah.
shopkeeper is saying. And you're like,
हाँ.
हाँ, phone का ही मतलब
हाँ.
explanation दे रहा है.
चल रहा
But
है. हाँ.
later on, we realize the logical explanation is provided when you want to say that this is not a supernatural phenomenon, but a scientific phenomenon. That, oh, the phone has this feature of sending reminders to yourself.
Hmm.
It'll ring at a certain hour, etc. And
Yeah.
they show you that flashback, but when the guy is explaining all of this, his attention was
Yeah.
elsewhere.
Yeah.
So very beautifully done in a flashback. They have used character motivation to
Yeah.
eliminate that information from both the audience and the character's conscious mind. And as they say, the
Hmm.
subconscious notes everything.
Hmm.
So he was
Yeah.
able to um,
Yeah.
remember all that information. And also, he
And
had
they,
a box in the instruction manual.
and they also say that they go one step further to explain what subconscious mind works like, right? Like even when
Hmm.
he's working, he can hear his like Deepika Padukone's boyfriend like talking to his wife in Delhi. So even though
Yeah.
he doesn't register, but his subconscious, unconscious mind registered that he saw,
Subconscious registers it. Yeah.
registers it. And even with his boss, that he catches his boss with his secretary or whoever, like
Hmm.
So I thought
Yeah.
they did it very well. Yeah.
Very well. Yeah. For sure. And then another genre trope from the rom-com genre that
Hmm.
I wanted to point out was a transgressive touch.
Hmm.
So when this happens, when your characters in a rom-com haven't reached that level in their relationship yet where they can be like touching each other, holding hands, all that. But it's a rom-com, so you need to give your audience that feeling.
Hmm.
So, and also you need to give your characters a sense of yearning, which
Hmm.
comes from things that they're not allowed to do and yearning and
Hmm.
feeling a little bit, then pulling it away. And over here, it is when they are painting Farhan Akhtar's house and he
Huh.
gets some paint on his face and Deepika rubs it off.
Hmm. Yeah.
So that is creating touch before it has actually been earned within the film.
Yeah. Yeah. From rom-com point of view, I have two more genre tropes, which is
Hmm.
first is grand gestures. So he asks her out for a coffee and she says yes. And finally, they go on a drive and she's like, "Where are we going?" She's like, "You didn't tell me where to go for coffee." So he takes her all
Yeah.
the way to Khandala. He like organizes like a small picnic.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
again, like a grand gesture in a like a romantic comedy like holds true. Like
Hmm.
Barfi mein, like he goes to the clock tower to say like hello,
Yeah.
or in Band Baja Barat he burns a CD for her all night to like give her for the.
Hmm.
Uh, so I thought like that's a common trope we see. The second one, which happens in rom coms, is delayed gratification, where delayed gratification specifically for the first kiss or the first time, like the characters sort of get physical with each other. So in this case, they have the song of Teri Ada, and like he drops her home. She says, "Come kiss me," and he's like, "No, I can't kiss you, because you're
Hmm.
drunk." So she's like, "Fine, you're boring." She goes in. He gets out. He's like, he does want to hook up with her, so he drinks,
Yeah.
and then he goes upstairs, and He says, now I think we can hook up because I'm also drunk.
Hmm.
So you think, okay, now they will hook up. They don't.
Hmm.
Uh, her insecurities pop up there that, this is not a one night thing, right? So
Hmm.
he takes her all the way to the office, shows her all the emails, and that's when the first time properly like hug slash hookup,
Hmm.
implied hookup. So I
Yeah.
thought like delayed gratification was cool there.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
perfect. Because why does this work so well? Because you know that this is what your audience is waiting for.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
moment you've given it to them, the edge of the seatness goes away. Then
Yeah.
people are not
Yeah.
sitting at the edge of their seat.
Yeah.
So you are, as a writer, always playing this fine balance of how do I keep
Yeah.
my audience at the edge of the seat, but also not make them impatient
Yeah.
to like, कि अच्छा अभी यार तो दे दो.
Uh,
So this trope of delayed gratification really works in that case. Cool. Shall we go into scenes and sequences next?
yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah. Cool. One technique I want to talk about is, which I've spoken about earlier, called conflict piling.
Hmm.
Or you put one conflict after another on a character and you
I know
see
which
how
one you're
they
talking
react.
about. I think so.
You think?
Yeah.
Okay. So, conflict piling essentially helps elevate the scene. Instead of taking conflict at one level, you add another to it. You make it worse, you make it worse. Over here, I want to talk about the scene where Farhan Akhtar finally gets fired.
Hmm. No, that was not
Did you
my
think?
scene though. No. Huh.
Okay. So, in conflict piling over here, Farhan Akhtar tells his boss that, bro, you told me to only do one company's contracts.
Hmm.
Now you're asking for two. So he's like, oh, the boss first says, oh, what do you think that you're saying I made a mistake? He's like,
Hmm.
no, I'm not really implying that, though. Kinda, I was implying that. And he's like, and then the boss takes it one step further. He's like, oh, so
Hmm.
you want me to apologize to you? Huh? You
Hmm.
think you're so much better than me? I should apologize to you. So that's a
Hmm.
second conflict. The
Hmm.
third conflict is he doesn't stop there. He says he goes out to the whole office, Ram Kapoor's
Hmm.
character, and announces that, oh, look, Farhan thinks he's so like great. He wants me to apologize to him, wants me to apologize to him. And fourth, he finally fires Farhan's character in front of everyone.
Hmm.
So this scene could have been a simple scene in the office that you're disrespecting me, you're a shit worker, bye. But they push the conflict. How can they push the thing further and they add to it? It's
Hmm.
not like they constantly just talk about I told you this, no, you told me this. I told you this, no, you told me. They're like they keep adding to it. Acha, you think I said this? Now I'll fire. Now I'm
Yeah.
gonna apologize. Okay, no, not just apology in front of everyone, not just fire you in front of everyone.
Yeah.
So they've pushed it, elevated it, and piled it up.
Yeah.
And
And like the point of the scene is for us to feel so bad for him, right? Like
hmm,
how can you feel horrible for this guy? And I think they
yeah,
add one more thing in the scene, which is like at the end of the scene, Deepika Padukone finally does notice him, and she's like, "Is this guy
hmm,
new in our office?" So you know that she doesn't even register that he's been working here for
hmm,
so long, and you have seen
yeah,
him yearn for her so much. So I
so
thought,
much
yeah,
exactly.
hmm,
And she notices him at his worst.
yeah,
So that is the
correct,
worst time to be noticed also. So they've
yeah,
done that very well in the sense of because again that goes into range, right?
hmm,
If you're going to build a love story, you need the
hmm,
characters starting off at the wrong foot. That's why
hmm,
we always have meet cutes where something goes wrong.
hmm,
Or over here, where if they're supposed to get married, it has to start with her not even noticing him. So
hmm,
they've used this scene to create that range. And
hmm,
they've essentially double, they've done one thing, many things with one scene.
hmm, hmm. Very nicely. Hmm,
So very nicely done. And I wanted to talk about the opposite of conflict piling, which
hmm.
I don't know what to call. So I called it admiration piling, which
What
is
piling?
where admiration.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Admiration.
Like, so this is where it's essentially like you have a machine gun
Hmm,
and you're killing one person after the other, and like you're not missing a single target.
hmm,
And this is what you use this technique when you really want to show that your character is top notch at this
hmm,
unbeatable sort of level, which they do with Farhan Akhtar's character when he is to speak to the landlord, when he decides
hmm,
to cross the threshold.
hmm.
So when they're crossing the threshold, become Dutch, crossing the threshold. This so. Farhan Akhtar landlord comes and says that, bro, where's my deposit of 50,000 rupees? He's like, actually, I repaired the flaws that caused this much. I repaired this, which caused this much. So actually, you kind of owe me 5,000 rupees, right?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
then he's like, Arey, what are you talking about? And all. And then Farhan Akhtar doesn't stop there. So anyway, you're admiring him that, oh, he's done this
Hmm.
reverse mental man thing. He's like, oh, by the way, I know you're selling that garage, renting it out illegally, etc.
Hmm.
That needs to like you. I'm going to report you for that.
Hmm.
And then the guy's like, oh, okay, what? And then he's like, oh, there's that guard who takes care of it. I don't like the way he looks. Fire him. So
Huh.
he's not just taking one thing. He's attacking it
Adding.
from many
Hmm.
different angles and
Hmm.
adding to it. So
Hmm.
this is admiration piling where you're like, this guy's not just smart. He can like
Huh.
really work with a whole
Yeah.
situation. So
Yeah.
this technique works when you want to really establish admiration for your character. Hence,
Hmm.
admiration piling.
Yeah. It's like a superhero technique, right? Like,
Exactly.
like you just like first you would like go for one person at a time. Then you like, I can hit
Hmm.
two people at the same time. Oh, you know what? I can
Yeah.
tackle four people at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Cool. Pretty cool.
Next. Hmm.
I want to talk about misleading as a technique. In the scene, uh, okay. So misleading is when you are as an audience think that the scene is gonna go in some one direction, but the filmmaker or the writer decides that no, that's not it. We're gonna take you in a completely different direction. Um, so in this one is when he is told by the caller that remember, nobody can know about us. Like you can't tell anybody
Yeah.
that you get these calls. And when he tells Deepika's character, Sonali, that I do get these calls, she says, go to the therapist. And the
Hmm.
therapist also says, you know what, I don't do this for anybody, but I'm going to come to your place and like actually
Hmm.
see the calls,
Hmm.
see if the caller calls or not. And in this moment, you're like, obviously, like maybe like now she'll not hear it. And you know, this guy will be deemed
Hmm.
crazy because you
Yeah.
sort of know that it's maybe internal, like he's not actually getting these calls, but it's in his mind.
Yeah.
So but that's the mislead where when the doctor actually does come home, she comes like half an hour early. There is a whole anticipation, and you think that the call is not going to happen, but it
Hmm.
does. Uh,
Yes.
so I thought that was very well played out. And following this scene is I want to talk about conflict piling, which I had, which I
Hmm.
thought what you were going to say, was when Deepika says that, you know what, I also want to hear what ends up happening,
Hmm.
like see if he calls again or not. So again, they're at 4 in the morning, having their cup of coffee or whatever, and now waiting for
Hmm.
this call. Now you have already established that other people can also see and hear these calls, right? So how do we up the ante? How do we pile on
Hmm.
conflict in this scene now?
Yeah.
So now again, it becomes a whole sequence of piling one after the other. So the
Hmm.
moment she's like in his house, she falls, tells him that, you know what, I'm going to report him to the police. Like, let's see
Hmm.
who this guy is. So, which already like Farhan's character is like, no, like, I don't want to do that. So there is immediately
Hmm.
conflict there. Now, when the call comes, now it's no more a secret that will the call come or not. You as an audience know कि call
Hmm.
to आएगा ही. She says, we are not picking it up. You are not picking it up. So the conflict adds there, like in the sense that Farhan Akhtar gets very restless. She actually puts her hand
Hmm.
on the phone that you're not gonna answer no matter what. You choose it's the call or you. उसको बुरा
Hmm.
लगेगा कि मुझे बुरा लगेगा. Like the tension is
Yeah.
heavy. And
Yeah.
she just says, what will happen if you don't answer the call? And door starts
Hmm.
banging. Uh,
Yeah.
so again, another layer of conflict gets added because, and now to the audience, are like, oh fuck, what just happened? Like,
Yeah.
is it some actual person or a force, or is it some horror
Yeah.
element which has now come into? So
Yeah.
I thought they really did very well the whole piling stuff.
Yeah. Very, very well done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh, other technique which I thought they employed well in the film was mirror scenes. Uh,
Hmm.
a mirror scene is essentially you have one scene with the characters and it plays out a certain way, and in the and later on in the film, either it could be the end or in some other time when your hero has entered the new world, you play out the same scene and you see either whether does he play out the scene in the same way or in a different way. So that way you can assess whether your character has grown or not.
Hmm.
Uh, so one scene was, uh, this is in this ordinary world which comes where he watches her from his cubicle. She's coming out of her cabin and she waves,
Hmm.
and like, and he gets so happy, he waves at her back, only to realize that,
Yeah.
oh, it was not for me, it was somebody from behind, like she was waving not to me.
Yeah.
And later on in the film, when he's actually like wooed her properly, uh she comes out of her cabin, she waves at him, and his instinct is to actually check, like, oh, is it to me
कोई
or
पीछे
not?
तो नहीं है हाँ
Yeah, and she's like, no, it's for you, idiot. So I thought that
Hmm.
was a good mirror scene. um
Yeah.
I don't know if this is a mirror scene or not, but that the first time he tries to take his life, he's having those pills, uh
Hmm.
and he gets rescued by this call from Karthik. That was the first time he gets a call, uh
Hmm.
and he's not able to like kill himself. But at the far end of the movie, the exact opposite happens, which is he
Hmm.
gets almost this last call, threatening call from this guy, and he decides to
Hmm.
like now start taking those pills. Uh,
Hmm.
so I don't know if it's a mirror scene, but there is some duality to it, because
Yeah.
it's like cause and effect have been reversed.
Hmm.
So, but I thought like there was similar visual placing for it to like look like a mirror scene.
Yeah, yeah. I think this can come into the category of a callback, where you've
Hmm.
explained earlier that a callback shows how the relationship between characters have changed or not
Yeah.
changed.
Yeah.
So, in the initial scene, when he's taking it,
Hmm.
the Karthik that calls him is calling him to save his life.
Huh.
And
Hmm.
now the relationship has changed, where this
Hmm.
Karthik is saying, take your life.
Yeah.
So he's taking it in the same way as he did earlier
Hmm.
by consuming those pills. So
Huh.
it's almost a callback in that sense, I'd say.
Can you see? Callback लिख के काटा है मैंने. It's
It's a visual callback, not a dialogue callback.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So hence I
So,
got confused. Like, should it be a mirror scene or like a callback? But yeah,
callback,
yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. And speaking of callbacks or setups and payoffs, there are two other setups and payoffs I want to talk about.
Hmm.
Essentially, you have a setup and payoff when you want to have something happen in a film, but you don't
Hmm.
want it to be a coincidence later on. So you
Hmm.
set it up earlier and later it pays off by coming to use.
Hmm.
So over here, first you have a spam call where you know that Karthik gets spam calls from people, credit card
Hmm.
companies like we all do, and it comes initially in the film. And later on, when the phone is ringing, it's a tense moment. You think it's Karthik, something's going to happen. He picks it up. Oh, it's again that spam call. So
Hmm.
you're like, okay, they've set this up before. So not that I wouldn't believe it if
Yeah.
they
Especially in today's time when you get like
this
30
time.
spams calls a day.
Exactly. But still, a
Yeah.
thoughtful detail.
Yeah. Yeah.
And next is the illegal sale of the land. So this is in
Hmm.
the initial part of the film
Hmm.
where Karthik is in the car with his boss and he overhears his boss selling a piece of land and Karthik is like, that's illegal. And the boss is just like, shut up.
Hmm.
And what is your goal with any scene? Your goal with any scene is either to further the plot or
Hmm.
further the character or reveal
Hmm.
character. Ideally, both. This I thought was first revealing character, where you reveal that the boss is an asshole who does this.
Hmm.
But then they've also used this as a setup because later on, where Karthik goes to ask for his position back at the company
Hmm.
for a higher position, he says that I will reveal the fact that you're making an illegal deal to these
Hmm.
people. So it
Hmm.
also turns into a setup which they've used later to pay off and help him gain that elevated position.
Yeah.
And I want to use this to segue into another technique, which I call the mini arc, or
Hmm.
combined with the rule of three. The rule
Hmm.
of three is that ideally you want to have a beginning, middle, and end with
Hmm.
any arc or with anything that you do in your film for recall value and for continuation.
Hmm.
So over here, this illegal land thing has first you see them in the car, then you see him using it to get his position back, and finally, at the end, he's fired from his job also because
Hmm.
Phone Karthik has informed the buyer that that land was not
Hmm.
not like they couldn't sell it. So it was actually an illegal sale. So they've used this 3 times and created a mini arc out of it. So 3 scenes. They've also done this in the hookup scene prior to that, where they talk about mera fayda uthaoge ya nahi. So first they're at a club and Deepika is telling Farhan to drink. And he's like, अच्छा मैं पीऊंगा तो तुम मेरा फायदा उठाओगी क्या? And she's like, नहीं. So he's like, फिर पीने का क्या फायदा? Then later, when it's actually time for them to hook up, he's like, oh, but you are drunk. मैं तुम्हारा फायदा नहीं उठा सकता. So no, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
And then the third time they use it is when he goes and gets drunk and comes back and he says, अब हम दोनों एक दूसरे का फायदा उठा सकते हैं.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, a rule of 3, and they've used it as a mini arc, and they've furthered the usage a little bit each time. Let's go on to dialogue next.
Yeah. I want to talk about the moment which you just said when they're in the club. And she's like, I want to drink and like get me like this vodka with orange, blah blah blah. Side note, this is a 2009-10 film because everybody actually wants vodka, not tequila or like gin, like how people would want today. But yeah, she said vodka. And he says कि क्या तुम मेरे नशे में होने का फायदा उठाओगी? And she says नहीं. So ideally this dialogue could have just ended here. But I think the technique is using a conventional line and having a flip on it, which is that he says that अच्छा तुम फायदा नहीं उठाओगी तो फिर मेरे पीने का क्या मतलब?
Yeah.
So I think like using a conventional thought and having a different flip on it, take on it gives you like good dialogue work. So I thought like that was a good moment in the film. Yeah.
Yeah, that was very well used.
Yeah.
And I also think this another thing I wanted to point out was which is very small and which you would do anyway, regardless of anything, is when he comes into a position of power. Farhan Akhtar, when he's earlier addressing his boss as Aap, he now addresses him as Tum. So while this is very basic, this again merits a pass to be done towards the end of your script because you will forget to do this. So much like in Munna Bhai, they did a Bhai pass. Over here, you have to do like a status pass. Where this ties into status of the character, right? Which we've spoken about earlier, where a character knows what their position is in the world and will act according to that. So first, this film is a case study in that, literally, where first Farhan is very low. He doesn't believe in himself. So he's meek, all of that. And then later, when he knows that he is the shiz and his status is elevated, the way he walks changes, the way he talks changes. So that also bleeds into dialogue here, where status dictates dialogue. Cool. And I think what we should do is answer our audience's question. So as you guys know, we have chosen to do Breakdown Karthik Calling Karthik, not just because it's a phenomenal film, but because one of our viewers, Zingur, has asked us to break it down. And he asked us a question that how have they maintained tension around the mysterious scholar? And to answer that question, I think they haven't. For the lion's share of the film, like we've discussed, we know that it is Karthik calling Karthik because of Farhan Akhtar's voice. It's very evident. He has a mental illness. They've seeded it in. So we know that this is him calling himself.
Yeah.
Right? You think that maybe it's almost symbolic. The phone is symbolic of the conversations going on in his head. What they do manage to create mystery about later is one Shefali Shah's character enters and she is able to answer the call. So then you realize, oh, it's not in his head. This is not symbolism. This is actual reality. So that's when the tension rises. So the how is by literally just making it something that you question, that how is this possible? Physically, how is this possible? That's when the real mystery element kicks into this.
Yeah.
Right? And that's when it turns into a mystery and they reveal to you later that the phone is doing this.
Yeah.
But yeah, they make the mystery element by showing you that it's not just happening in someone else's head. And it's happening to others too. So it's the how of it.
Yeah. That's the exact moment when the genre of the movie changes.
Right?
Like, like it was romance before that, but now it's become a thriller.
So yes, that is all I have on Karthik Calling Karthik. How about you?
Yeah, that was all.
So y'all know the drill. Like, share, subscribe, leave any questions, comments, reactions down. And we will be back next Thursday with episode number 21 of the Breakdown Besties podcast. Cool. Bye.
Bye bye. Hi, guys. For our next episode, we are breaking down for the very first time an action film, a proper action film. It's also the first time we're breaking down the film of Bhai, Salman Khan. The film we're breaking down is Ek Tha Tiger. So go and try and watch the film before our episode comes out. See you next Thursday.